Hey everyone, in this video I want to explain to you how you should be learning the content in a math course, and specifically when it comes to the assignments, what you should be thinking about in terms of making sure that you are getting the help that you need and also submitting the work that represents your understanding. Okay, so first of all, from day one in any course, the idea is if you are stuck on something, if you're learning a new topic, you want to be able to get help on that if you can't figure it out, right? So where do you go for help? Well, the important thing is you want to be able to reach out to whoever you can, right? Whether that be a friend or a teacher or a tutor for that matter. We want to establish when it comes to a math class that help, that discussion is perfectly fine when it comes to understanding the material and actually learning it. That includes watching a tutorial video, going to live class, or completing the homework, right? The practice problems. When you're working on any of that stuff, totally fine to be discussing it with your tutor, your classmates, your peers, your friends, your teacher. All of those things are perfectly fine. Now, I want to encourage you to do that because obviously we've each got some pretty good ideas and they've got some bright individuals around you, so you want to make sure that you bounce ideas off of one another. Now, the key thing is on assignments, that's the stuff that you're going to hand in to show how much you know. That's the stuff that counts for marks. So make sure that for assignments, you're doing the work on your own. Now look, I was a high school student once. I know what it's like to be working on stuff. When you've got people around you that are working on the same thing, it's tempting, and you're also going to realize that people are going to be asking you questions about the assignments, right? You're going to ask questions yourself, like, what does this question mean? People are going to ask you, I'm stuck on question 4, how do I get it? Or did you get this answer for question 5? Those things happen all the time. The challenge is, how are you supposed to be able to respond to those things when, of course, everyone's assignment is supposed to be their own? So keep in mind that when it comes to asking questions to one another about assignments, the best thing you can do for anyone, and what you should be trying to do, is to point them or direct them to a practice problem that helped you, or something that helped you understand how to do that problem. Notice that it's not about telling them how to answer it, or showing them what you used specifically, but it's about pointing them to another resource that will help them. Okay, if anyone ever asks you a question on an assignment and you're not sure how to help them, or you feel like you might be now discussing too many details about the exact step-by-step processes, then by all means direct them to the teacher, in this case, me. All right, so when it comes to an assignment, your work should be unique to you. The processes you use, the way you describe it, all that stuff should be your own. All right, now I understand that sometimes there are going to be students that have questions about assignments, and that in some cases even the assignment answers are going to be the same, right? That's unavoidable in math sometimes. Same with the formulas. You're going to need to use the same formulas sometimes. Those things are totally okay, all right? But what I want to encourage you to do is to try to avoid discussing the assignment questions themselves, okay? So try, if you do have questions, asking me or a teacher about them, or if you are the person that's being asked questions about an assignment, try letting your peers know, okay, this is a practice problem that I did that might help you, okay? You want to avoid obviously showing your work to one another, okay? And what tends to happen sometimes is if we're asking each other, hey, what did you get for question 5, or how did you do question 4, it's kind of tempting if you have it done, or if you're working on your assignment at the same time as someone else, to look at your answer and to share what you're looking at, okay? Whether it be just an idea about what the final answer should look like, or the formula, you want to avoid doing that. What happens sometimes is it's really tempting then if someone says, hey, what did you do for question 5? They go ahead and do it, and it turns out that they get a different answer than you did. All of a sudden, it's human nature to try to take a look at your 2 answers and have them align, right? Obviously, one of you might be wrong, so you want to avoid doing that. Okay, what tends to happen is that you're going to have a tendency to try to make your answers look like one another inherently just because you're trying to get to the same end result. Okay, so you don't want that to happen. What should happen is you should start a question after you feel prepared. You should start it feeling like you know what tools you need. You and your friend might both be using the same formula. That's totally fine, but you should make sure you follow through with that process. You write out your steps. The words you use describe the way your thoughts are flowing, and that finally you get to an answer that you are comfortable with. Okay, I want you to avoid trying to confirm answers with other individuals because that can often get you in trouble. So the best thing I can suggest to you is to avoid working side by side on your assignments. Okay, I know sometimes it's going to happen. You're going to be working on your assignment at the same time as someone else who's in the same room, or that you can contact, right, via email or something else. You want to try to avoid contacting them specifically and ask them specific questions, and instead maybe ask, you know what, I just would like to know, what question did you do, or do you have a similar thing to this that we've done that can prepare me for that? Okay. Anytime you're unsure about something on your assignment, make sure you direct those questions to me. I'll always make sure I can point you somewhere that'll help, or clarify the problem for you, or even give you a hint if necessary. Okay. But that's the only way you can ensure that everyone's work is unique, because when I look at your work, it should be a reflection of what you're thinking and what you can do when it comes to understanding the content in the modules.